Once upon a time, in a quaint little village surrounded by green fields and tall trees, lived a curious boy named Rohan. His village lay at the very edge of a vast and mysterious forest. The villagers often spoke of the forest in hushed tones. It's a magical place, they would say, but it's also dangerous. Many have entered, but not all have returned. Rohan, with his sparkling brown eyes and adventurous spirit, would always sit by the edge of the forest, imagining the wonders it might hold. He often dreamt of talking animals, secret caves, and hidden treasures. One day, he thought, I will explore it. One crisp autumn evening, as the sun began to set, Rohan saw something strange. Deep within the forest, between the tall trees, he noticed a flicker of light. It shimmered brightly, almost like a star fallen from the sky. Intrigued, Rohan stood up and stared at it. His heart raced with excitement. What could that be? He wondered. Without a second thought, he began to follow the light, stepping cautiously into the woods. The forest was unlike anything he had ever seen. The trees were tall and twisted, their leaves glowing faintly under the twilight sky. Strange plants with shimmering petals lined the path, and the air smelled sweet, like honey and wildflowers. As he ventured deeper, he heard soft whispers all around him. At first, he thought it was the wind, but then he realized they were voices. He turned and saw rabbits with soft white fur sitting on tree branches, chatting among themselves. Birds with sparkling feathers flew above him, their wings leaving trails of light in the air. Am I dreaming? Rohan whispered to himself, rubbing his eyes in disbelief. Just then, he heard a faint cry for help. Help me, the voice cried again, weak and desperate. It was coming from behind a large, ancient oak tree. Rohan rushed towards the sound. Behind the tree, he found a beautiful fox with golden fur, trapped in a shimmering silver net. The fox's eyes were filled with fear. Please, the fox begged, help me. This is no ordinary net. It was cast by the evil wizard Morgol, who wants to take over this magical forest. My name is Luno, and I am the guardian of these woods. Rohan, although scared, felt a surge of bravery. He carefully untangled the net, and the moment Luno was free, the fox shook its fur and looked up gratefully. Thank you, brave one, Luno said in a soft voice. But our task is far from over. Morgol has placed a terrible curse on this forest. If we do not stop him soon, all the creatures here will turn to stone, and the magic will disappear forever. Rohan, his eyes wide with concern, nodded. How can I help? Luno handed him a glowing green leaf. This is no ordinary leaf, he explained. It will guide us to Morgol's lair, but the journey will be treacherous. The path is full of puzzles and riddles, traps and illusions. Only the bravest and smartest can survive. Are you ready? Rohan took a deep breath. I am, he replied. The journey began. As they walked deeper into the forest, the air grew cooler and the trees thicker. Soon, they reached a wide river. There was no bridge in sight, only a troll standing by the water's edge, looking grumpy and impatient. He was large, with moss growing on his shoulders, and his eyes gleamed with mischief. If you wish to cross, you must solve my riddle, the troll boomed. Only then will the river allow you safe passage. Rohan stepped forward, his heart pounding. The troll grinned and recited the riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Rohan thought hard. Luno whispered, think carefully. The answer lies in nature. After a moment, Rohan's face lit up. An echo, he exclaimed. The troll nodded, impressed. With a snap of his fingers, a magical stone bridge appeared, and Rohan and Luno crossed the river safely. On the other side of the river, they found themselves in a dense, enchanted forest where the trees seemed to shift and move, creating a maze. No matter which way they turned, the paths would change. How will we ever get through this? Rohan asked, feeling hopeless. Luno smiled and said, sometimes in a maze, the trick is to trust your instincts. Let the leaf guide us. Rohan held up the magical leaf. It began to glow, pointing them in the right direction. After following its light for what seemed like hours, they finally emerged from the maze, standing before a tall, dark castle, Morgol's lair. The castle was cold and menacing. As they entered, Morgol appeared, laughing wickedly. His eyes gleamed with dark magic, and his long black robes flowed like shadows. "So," Morgol sneered, "you think a small boy and a fox can defeat me? How foolish." But Rohan stood firm, holding the magical leaf tightly. "You may have power," Rohan said, his voice steady, "but courage and friendship are stronger." Morgol laughed louder and cast a spell, sending bolts of dark energy toward Rohan and Luno. But just as the magic struck, the leaf in Rohan's hand glowed brighter, shielding them from harm. In that moment, Rohan realized that the leaf was not just a guide. It held the essence of the forest magic. With a swift motion, he threw the leaf into the air, and it transformed into a blinding light that engulfed Morgol. The dark wizard screamed, his magic unraveling. In a flash, Morgol was gone, banished from the forest forever. With Morgol defeated, the curse on the forest lifted. The trees bloomed with life, and the creatures danced in joy. Luno turned to Rohan with a proud smile. "You have saved us all," he said. "As a token of our gratitude, I give you this golden seed. Plant it in your village, and it will bring happiness and prosperity to your people." Rohan took the seed, feeling a sense of accomplishment and pride. When he returned to his village, he planted the golden seed in the center of the town. Soon, a magnificent tree grew, branches laden with fruits of every color. The tree became a symbol of hope and magic, and Rohan was celebrated as a hero. From that day on, Rohan's village and the magical forest shared a special bond. And whenever Rohan sat by the edge of the forest, he could hear the whispers of his magical friends, reminding him of the adventure they shared.